So I think that the real message behind anxiety and behind even dark things like suicide, which is still happening, and it's really, really hard, is that we do need to be kind to each other. We do need to spread more love, but there needs to be a bigger understanding of our emotions as well.
Yep.
There needs to be more of a comprehensive, you're anxious, this is your body signaling this.
Yeah.
This is your body telling you that you are in a situation, or you are having thoughts, or you are with people, or you are about to do something that your body's not comfortable with. And anxiety is a healthy emotion. It's just as essential as happiness and as fear and joy. And when we are anxious, it's our body alerting us that something's going on. And if I'm walking into a room and it's kind of sketchy, or if I'm in a new area and I'm alone, that anxious feeling can save my life.
Yep.
It really can. Or if, we're driving in the rain and it's getting really, really tough out and my anxiety gets us to pull over. That can save your life.
Yeah.
It's when the anxiety is taking control of you that you need to recognize that there's some sort of shift that needs to happen. There's some sort of shift that needs to happen because your day-to-day actions and your thoughts and what you're consuming for some reason is making you anxious. And I know there can be imbalances with that as well. I do believe there can be imbalances. I believe I had an imbalance when I was in college.
Yeah.
And it can be really easy when a doctor is telling you, here's Prozac, this will lower that. And I totally believe for some people, that might be their way. And I always respect their way. Mel Robbins, who is incredibly inspiring, has written a lot of books, an inspirational speaker. She's amazing. She's been one of my idols for a really long time. She posted about how she has been on antidepressants. She may still be on them. I'm not 100% sure, but she talks about how those get her to that level where she's able to function. And I believe that. Like, that's her truth. And I believe that exists. But if you're someone who might be kind of in between those two places, where you're really anxious, you don't know why, and you're not really feeling the need for medication, it's the understanding.
Yeah.
It's the learning of your own emotions and your body and why you might be feeling that way.
And I want to go back to what you're starting off with, the whole be kind thing. I've always thought about this is like in school when you're growing up, especially I think there's a big push, I think maybe like your generation and like our generation, but like I feel like it was me even more so, where it was like the big anti-bullying efforts. And I always found it interesting where it's like, okay, we're doing anti-bullying, we're saying this stuff like be kind, but we're talking about like, we're focusing more on the kind of like antagonizer, the bully, and diminishing that instead of empowering the victim.
Yes.
So it's like if we had like if we had school systems where people felt like proud to be who they were and just fucking like rock stars, empowering people instead of just like, no, we're hitting like whack-a-mole these bullies everywhere. It's like, no, if people be strong, because like I think you need that inner strength, and it's very easy to fall into a depressive state or feel like you're a victim when you don't feel any sort of sense of empowerment.
You're not celebrated in any way.
Right. It's like
know?
let's celebrate the hell out of everyone's interest.
I think people get addicted to the feeling of being a victim as well,
Oh,
because
100%.
it's so...
Here we go.
It can be...
Let's
shit, if you're listening still.
It's like we're going down space. Oh, God.
It's a fucking fact, and a lot of people identify and get addicted to the state of being a victim because in our society, it's rewarded. It's rewarded. It's rewarded again and again and again. Oh, you aren't able to get a job and things aren't working out for you and you're feeling kind of bad about yourself. Here's a handout. Here's some help. Here's the government.
Even look at those billboard signs. It's like, injured by some random thing, like, call us. Like, we'll pay you to be the victim. Like,
oh my God. It's,
like, people making money off of it.
Yeah.
Turn it into a business.
And like, like when I was talking about like empowering the victim, it doesn't mean to coddle them and, make sure that they feel great. It's be like, no, to get them out of that victim state so they can fucking punch the bully in the face. Not like, be like, oh, I'm a victim, come help me, school system, to get the bully away.
It's an understanding of emotions. If someone is spewing some negativity at you, that's coming from them. If I have an issue with how you look or how you act or what you're doing, that's an insecurity within myself. If I'm telling you that you posting content is stupid and embarrassing, you shouldn't be doing that, I'm insecure because I don't have my creative outlet.
Yeah.
I'm insecure because I don't have something I'm passionate about, so I'm going to bring you down. And that could be seen as bullying. It's very, very often that the people who are being bullied or who are getting spoken down against, it's because people are jealous of them. That's always something that it could be coming down to. But also, it's really important to get a understanding of communication in general, an understanding of, okay, is this person saying this to me and this is actually a really good critique that I can apply to my life, or is this person speaking out of a place of their own insecurity? And that's where it comes down to as well, surrounding yourself with people who you trust. Like when Daniel tells me I'm being a little whack, like I trust that. And if you have friends who are just jealous of you, they might be pulling you down because they're jealous. It's just a matter of understanding and having a better understanding of communication. Yeah. And that's, again, just something that is not talked about. Instead, it's be kind, be nice, be nice to everyone. And that's important. I think sending love and being kind to people you don't know, because you don't ever know what somebody's going through. Yeah. And kindness will, one, always elevate the frequency of whatever community you're in, but it'll also make you feel better as well. That's a fact. But instead of putting the Band-Aid on the wound that is insecurity, I think we need to heal the real issue. I think we need to teach confidence. I think we need to get a better system in place for people to recognize that their power comes from within them. It doesn't come from other people being fucking nice to you.
Right.
It doesn't.
Kindness
definitely does go a long way. Like as the world gets kinder, that's awesome, and that builds like a better platform to be more confident. But when we look at like bullying, like I don't think I was like bullied, but I was pretty weird. I definitely went through some like bullying, getting a little bullied in school, beat up a little bit. But like it kind of boils down to like exactly what you just said. Like I didn't have any platform to really feel confident. No one celebrated me. Yeah. Like nobody really congratulated me on my accomplishments. Like I got straight A's across the board at a very difficult school. No one was like, yo, man, like, keep going. Like, dude, you really, like, nobody. My parents was like, oh, like, another, I'm not blaming my parents, but like, another good semester. Like, good job. The guidance counselor was like, you're doing all right. Like, I'm not doing all right. I'm crushing it. Like, let's go.
I want you to speak on this a little bit more because I know you had a very interesting childhood growing up.
Yeah.
You were like this adorable trumpet playing, like, more quiet, really genius-esque kid. And you could probably speak on probably some uncomfortable situations with going to an all-boys school, a lot of, like, these fake alpha males, teenagers.
A lot of fake alpha males, for
how
sure.
do you feel, how do you feel their bullying towards you or their interactions with you kind of made you who you are today, and how does your perspective on that situation lead you to success and where you're at now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like I said, like first of all, I have zero bad energy toward anybody who like treated me with a like less than perfect kindness, because we were all immature, and I was an easy target for a kid. I was like had like basically Tourette's and shit. It was just easy. Like, wait, this dude's like tweaking over there. You know what I mean? That's easy. But I think when somebody treated me with a lack of respect or did something that wasn't really kind to me, I think it's kind of the same thing I do now. Like when someone gives me a bad vibe, I just go away and like get in my own vibe, because my vibe's like a lot of the time very strong. Like sometimes I have my bad days or whatever, but like when someone's just being a little weird, I'm like, all right, let's you fucking do your thing. I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna go like reflect my own or just like spend time with myself. I'm great with spending time with myself. And now like post college and all that, it's kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of like, oh yeah, like I'm firing a client, like, hey, you're being weird, you're trying to bully me. I'm like, have a nice day, man. Like, I'm just not gonna talk to you, and I'm just gonna do my own thing.
It comes down to knowing your worth. It really does. It really does. Yeah. And something that again Costa Rica has made me question everything is the power of what we believe. The power of what we truly believe. And we can go into a completely different subsector of this conversation because I want to talk about sunscreen and the sun and my theories on this. But I just...
As I am burning.
As your foot is literally just like
on fire.
Red.
Literally on fire. But I think to close out this topic is there is a lot of unhappiness out there, a lot of anxiety out there, a lot of victimhood, and I think that the most important thing that you can do for yourself is to practice your self-worth and your self-love. And I'm just curious, like, what does that mean to you guys? What would some implementable tips be for that, and like what really got you from a place of maybe victimhood to self-love and self-worth?
Journal. Like, I can sit down and think about things, but I'm in my mind at the end of the day. If I'm thinking about something, to be like, oh, you know, forgiveness or whatever. The moment you open up the page, you got the pen on the paper and just writing it out. You get out all the bad blood in like the first few sentences, and all of a sudden, like, you start talking about yourself in a good way, and like how like you did something like, hey, someone was acted, you know, malicious toward me, but like I was strong enough to let that pass through me, and like that makes you feel good. Like you start recognizing things you do. And then I genuinely feel like when I started keeping a journal, my confidence just went
That's amazing.
Through the roof, and nobody could touch me as soon as I started to do that.
Could you give like an example of maybe some prompts or specific things you write about that have helped you grow?
Yeah, I mean the basics of like, I'm grateful for this. Yeah. Something like what I do is like, I'm grateful for this in the moment that like I actually have, whether it's like basic like family or like the flowers or whatever. And then sometimes I'll transition it and like kind of trick my brain to be so grateful and happy and grateful I got this new mansion. Like when I didn't actually get the new mansion, but like I've prompted myself. Sometimes I'll just do things like, I am creative, I am loving, I am whatever you want to be. But one of the most practical, like this has been a very business orientated thing, is like when somebody pisses me off in business, which doesn't happen that much, but it's happened a fair amount of times. Yeah. And like, you can let that crumble the relationship. Like someone pisses you off, like you get angry and you get emotional toward them, and like their emotional intelligence isn't that high. Yeah. And then they get angry at you, like the whole thing can really just like crumble in a day. And what I've done is like, anytime I feel like that, I'll be all right, before I act at this person, I'd say 80-90% of the time I write out everything I'm heated about at that person. I write this out, write this right, and then I look at it on paper. I'm like, that's really like one or two things, and then like I ask them about it in a respectful way, and we have a real adult, mature conversation. And then not only is it more civil, I feel like I win like pretty much every time. I get what I want, because I don't like, hey, you did this to me, like fuck you. It's like, hey man, XYZ, and then it goes out really, really well.
That's so important. I love that.
Yeah, that's my take. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get like full on like base Jordan Peterson, Jocko Willink here, but like there's an issue where, you know, a lot of people might look at this and be like, oh, that's toxic what you do to look at yourself, or they diminish it. It's like, well, it works for me. So it's like, okay, like, fuck off. Like, if like a lot of people, right, and I'm going to be careful here, but...
fuck that.
You know, it's in society, it's very much like, accept yourself, love yourself, all that stuff. And Jocko Willink, obviously, like, beast, Navy SEAL, he's like, discipline equals freedom. And Jordan Peterson says, no, you should not accept who you are because you have unlimited potential. And so if we start just accepting ourselves, it leads to stagnant growth. And so when I hear the phrase discipline equals freedom, which is one of my favorite phrases, it basically is the meaning that the way that you actually get freedom in your life, and freedom in business, and freedom with your own insecurities is by actually doing shit and proving to yourself that you deserve those things. So, like, for example, you can't wake up in the morning and look in the mirror being overweight or underweight and be like, I love myself, I'm healthy. It's like, no, you gotta, the way that you feel better about yourself is going to the gym and doing some dieting and in a healthy manner, of course. And people say, like, this is toxic because, yes, it can lead to some unhealthy eating things and stuff like that. So I want to be careful with that. But at the same time, it's like, for me, it works for me. When I was skinny, the people telling me I was skinny and underweight, sure, like, I could have rubbed it off as bullying. They weren't wrong, okay? And this wasn't making me confident being skinny. So what can I do to change that? Because I have more potential. When, you know, I think about like discipline equals freedom, it's like, okay, I'm not going to be making a lot of money or whatever without actual discipline, putting the actions in place. So it's like, for me, it's like you said, like journaling might be it for you. I think journaling has impacted me as well, but just like the little things of, I have to prove it to myself that I'm worthy of feeling this way. That's the biggest thing.
I love that. I love that. And I was thinking about this yesterday where I was telling you about push-ups. Yeah. I've been doing more push-ups here. I've been doing a lot of arm exercises in the gym, and I'm by no means yoked or anything. But when I first got here, I was able to do X amount of push-ups, and then a couple days ago, I was able to add 5 more on, and I felt stronger. Yeah. And I felt more in control of my body, and I felt like I was doing it better. And I just thought to myself, like, few things feel as good as recognizing your own growth. Yeah. And I feel true confidence comes through keeping promises to yourself with your discipline. And I think as always, there's a balance to things. I think that that's where things can get unhealthy.
Right.
But I believe that it's a mix of appreciating where you're at, recognizing where you've come from, but still having that drive and desire to go forward and reach that next level of yourself. And I think this has been such a cool conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sharing both of those perspectives. I think it's can be very helpful and help a lot of people. And I truly believe that the content you listen to and the new ideas you expose yourself to when you're open-minded and when you're open to trying out a different perspective is so powerful. And it really comes back to that belief in what you believe is possible. If you believe you're going to feel more confident if you go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, and then you do that.
Oh, feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe that you're going to have more energy if you eat really healthy and implement some more balance in your diet, and then you do that.
Yeah.
If you believe that you will achieve more happiness and more freedom in your life if you create your own business and start profiting from that,
Yeah.
and then you do it,
Yeah.
You're a beast.
You're
Unfuckable.
So
facts.
So